In this video, I'm going to benchmark AI through art. Now, this is something that I feel like is a better representation of the models and their performance, and it's something that a lot of people have a difficulty to grasp. We can read and we can kind of tell through our own work to the extent of what an AI agent is capable of doing. But do we understand what this is? Like, just from a glance, can you tell me what this is? Yes, you should be able to. It's a lighthouse and a boat, and it's an image, right? So this is basic, clear understanding. We know what this is. This is a piece of art, and it is just a boat, an image, and a lighthouse, all right? Now, what I'm saying is that if we take what is this concept of art and if we introduce it as the benchmark within itself for AI, we can start to gleam into what is the progression of these models in a whole new way. So this right here is a prompt, and it is a benchmark that I have ran probably 4 times throughout what has been the iterative releases of the different models and AI. And I initially was able to establish what is Excalidraw as a component within the Dash framework. And within this, I extended out AI to give it the ability to draw on canvas. So this, from a glance, is just the solar system. But if I take you back to what is only a few months ago, to the last benchmark that I ran on this, you can kind of get an idea to the degree of what it was able to create. This is a boat. This is a sailboat. It's pretty decent. You can kind of understand that it's a sailboat. Let's see what else we have. We have what is this dynamic generation, as you can kind of see. This is the solar system. But if you go back to, what is this right here? This is a much better solar system. And I just kicked off another one. It's currently going, and it's going to take a little bit. But I have another prompt to kind of showcase this. So if I go over to some of the last sailboat ones that I did, so this was some of the benchmarks. I post a lot. But with this, okay, in the top, all right, this is on low, all right? And you can see that the effort was low, 24,000 tokens, and it created 35 elements in about 91 seconds. And it cost me about 30 cents. So with this, from a glance, you can quickly see that, okay, it kind of understood what was the goal. I asked it to create a harbor and just some sailboats, some shrimp stands, and kind of make it interactive. This is what it drew at low effort, okay? This is what it drew at medium effort, all right? 62 elements over 171 seconds, and it cost me about 50 cents. There's a lot better things I could be spending my 50 cents on, but keeping at it, all right? This is on high, and this is with the max tokens, which it created 95 elements, and it drew them individually on the canvas, and it took 314 seconds to create. It cost me about $1. Is this not $1's worth of a beautiful art piece, But for its comprehension and for an actual benchmark from a glance, you can easily understand that at what is this high effort to the degree at which this model is operating. Because if it's able to draw a picture, and depending on the task, you need to ask yourselves, hey, does the task warrant having, the birds upside down? Or is it a task where, professionalism and you have to dot your I's and cross your T's and there's a lot more at the line? Do you need the birds facing the right direction, So from a glance and just kind of experimenting in other models, like Gemini has been very interesting because I feel like it's been one of those models that has been relatively lackluster, I haven't been a big fan of Gemini, but I am also doing like 3D modeling. And I'm using the same type of benchmark format where this is a prompt where I asked to build a lighthouse. And what you might find interesting, which is crazy, but in this example, okay, and running this benchmark just from a glance, okay, we have low at the bottom, okay, we have high at the top right, and then right directly, smack dab over here, we have what is medium. And the medium for this is beautiful. Like, this looks like a lighthouse. This looks so much better than any of the other renditions, where this one spent more money. It looks terrible, But I'm also noticing that from what is the cost perspective, that these, and doing benchmarks and creating 3D objects in a 3D space, believe it or not, it's cheaper than what is the Excalidraw. where I'm sure we're going to look at okay, one of them wasn't able to create, but 2 out of the 3 did. I asked it to create an image of old school RuneScape that is accurate. So here we go on low effort. I used about 4,800 tokens. Okay. And we got, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty interesting. Okay. Let's see what medium was able to do. Medium's looking even better. So this is how I am trying to think about how to work with AI. It's not just about, using it to create a project, but you really need to isolate out and comprehend to the scope and the degree of what each model and what it's capable of doing. And I found myself secluded in a single model system where I am dependent on Claude. It's become my bread and butter. But I don't want to make that the only thing, but I'm also too concerned with the landscape to jump ship. But through what I have been benchmarking on Claude and what I'm clearly showing in just these quick little demonstrations, through art itself and through trying to benchmark through art, you can get a better grasp of the landscape of AI. And also, extended to that degree, I would say that video games in general are a really great outlet to fully understand AI, as AI and video games are going to be, basically they're born out of what is the same mother. Basically, NVIDIA started with video games, and the AI industry in general started with video games, and it has been what is the precipice to the forefront of what is industry. So this isn't a silly drawing. This is just a benchmark, an understanding of what is more complexity than what could fully be grasped in just stats on paper or the fluff of a marketing campaign. Anyway, I hope that you find this interesting. This is a short conversation to just kind of explain and to take a step back and just try to understand from a broad perspective what are the tools you're working within capable of doing, and then try to fit the model with the workflow. Because for this and a lot of this, it's not going to be just a brute force thing. It's going to be more of from yourself as the orchestrator and the maintainer in what are these networks and these systems that you are building out. How do you establish, what is a foundation for you to scale into and to kind of build out what is something that is independent in yourself. And to do that, it's going to be about fitting the right model, with the right price tag that deserves the work, so that you're not spending too much to create an image, and for the generative tasks and API calls that are within your application that are dynamic, they are functional and they're able to, be able to create something out of what is, the prompt engineering and the software engineering that you're pairing together in the workflows that you're creating. But yeah, with that, check out some of my other stuff. I have so many videos talk about programming and all of this jazz, and I have a lot of great resources in the description down below. But with that, thank you all for watching, and as always, build something amazing, and I'll see you guys in what is that next one.